Buddhism is about annihilating the self. If we eliminate the ego, everything will be good, right?
Not exactly.
Isn't it true that people talk about non-self, anatta, and that suffering comes from the ego? So don't we need to eliminate the ego to end suffering?
It's true that Buddhism talks about non-self, but non-self is about realization and direct experience, not about annihilating the ego.
I don't quite understand.
What do you think is trying to eliminate the ego? Do you see that your ego is full of anger, greed, and attachment, and you want to eliminate this ego to have a less attached and suffering-free ego?
Yes, that's right.
See, that's still the ego. It's just changing its form. When it sees this version is suffering too much, it wants to escape. So it finds a way out by dressing itself up in a new, attractive guise, escaping the current situation. It's still the ego. Many people share with me that they read scriptures, write them down, or do good deeds merely to escape their current suffering, still avoiding pain and seeking pleasure, no matter how beautiful or lofty the external appearance. Do you recognize this?
So what should we do?
Stop using the ego to practice. The ego merely seeks to avoid suffering and find pleasure, to achieve concentration, tranquility, supernatural powers, more blessings, to accept only beauty while rejecting ugliness, and to avoid hardship. This is not practicing Buddhism, even if the external form seems to follow it.
So how do we practice without using the ego? I'm only using the ego. If not the ego, what should we use?
That's a good and crucial question. Let me ask you, how does the ego usually manifest?
In my view, it manifests through greed, anger, ignorance, arrogance, and wandering thoughts.
Correct. Now what are you thinking and what are you feeling?
I think I understand a bit now. I feel more at ease.
If you are the stream of thoughts and feelings, how can you observe your own thoughts and feelings? Remember when you were angry, you could sense the anger rising, although soon after, you became one with that anger. However, sometimes in the moment before you merge with the anger, you can observe the anger arising, right?
Yes, sometimes that happens.
There is something that is not the anger, not the wandering thoughts, not the suffering emotions. It is always aware of the states of mind, the stream of thoughts and feelings as they arise and pass away. It is always aware while the objects of awareness are born and die. What is practice? It is recognizing that awareness and not identifying with the stream of thoughts, emotions, or mental states. Anger arises depending on conditions. Thoughts arise depending on conditions. It is what it is. You see it and you are clearly aware of it. So you are not it. Emotions are without a master, but when you identify with emotions, you consider them as I or mine and suffer because of them. When there is complete clear awareness, you are at home in your own body and mind. You observe each guest named thought or emotion coming and going, arising and ceasing. The important thing is that you see, and because you see, you do not identify. Gradually, the clarity of seeing increases, and you recognize the non-self of the objects and phenomena. It's about recognizing without attachment, not about driving something away. If you are still driving something away, it is still the ego. All practices are about recognizing this awareness. Unfortunately, we don't recognize this, so we think about eliminating the ego, greed, anger, and ignorance, and we focus on the ego in practice, leading to a never-ending cycle of confusion and entanglement.